And by might, I mean will.
Right. I'm not worried about this. I'm more worried about livecast.
Yes, can we
Wirecast.
please be live? Because
According to Smyrna City Charter, Adkins could face being removed from his position. The Town Hall Council themselves will make that decision. Actions by public officials are not always strictly separated from home and work life. The court will decide how they will interpret the
We're
charter.
going to reset even though we're late.
Adkins was booked in the Rutherford County Adult Detention Center and later released.
The teleprompter in the beginning?
I am determined.
Coming up tonight on Middle Tennessee News, there's a shooting at a local Murfreesboro apartment complex. There's just 1 week left to register to vote in the state of Tennessee, and a shoplifter that Murfreesboro police have been searching for since early September has been found. All those stories plus your local weather and sports, Middle Tennessee News starts right now. Good evening. I'm Christy Jones, joined by Morgan Gonzalez in the studio. Welcome to Middle Tennessee News. Smyrna Vice Mayor Mark Adkins was arrested and charged with a DUI Thursday morning. Adkins has been a resident of Smyrna since 1970. He has been on the Town Hall Council for over a decade. His seat is set to expire in 2022. He has been involved in Smyrna government since 1996. The Tennessee Highway Patrol did not immediately release additional information. Adkins is also a realtor at Park Realty and has been since 1987. The Realty office has made no comment on whether he will or will not be returning to his day job. According to the Town of Smyrna's Public Information Officer, Kathy Farrell, the Vice Mayor was not acting in any official capacity for the Town of Smyrna at the time of the incident. They have made no further comment at this time.
There are really two different issues involved. One is the DUI, and anybody involved in a DUI has got to be suspect. The second is he acting in his official capacity? Well, he doesn't clock in.
Smyrna City resident Carson Sisk has something to say.
As a vice mayor, as an elected political figure, there's like a social contract that you have with the people of your town. They look up to you, and so you need to set a good example.
According to Smyrna City Charter, Adkins could face being removed from his position. The Town Hall Council themselves will make that decision. Actions by public officials are not always strictly separated from home and work life. The court will decide how they will interpret the charter. Adkins was booked in the Rutherford County Adult Detention Center and later released. His hearing has been scheduled for January 29th in General Sessions Court. We will be keeping you updated when more becomes available. A man is recovering from a gunshot wound that happened at the Grove Apartments in Murfreesboro. According to the police department, at roughly 11:31 a.m. yesterday, MPD responded to the Grove Apartments in reference of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers found a 28-year-old male shot in the upper thigh. The victim was treated and released from a nearby hospital. Detectives are interviewing witnesses and neighbors in hopes of identifying the suspected unknown male. The case is under investigation by detectives with the Murfreesboro Crime Investigations Division. We will bring more updates as they come along.
The first of 3 scheduled presidential debates took place last night between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Case Western University in Cleveland, Ohio, played host for the first debate, which was an hour and a half of entertainment, to say the least. Both candidates had plenty to say throughout the evening and did so multiple times against the rules of the debate and the wishes of moderator Chris Wallace. To get a sense of what people are thinking, we asked several members of the student body and even some faculty their thoughts on what they saw, how they think it will impact the race moving forward.
A little bit of back and forth and not really confronting the issues that were at hand. They were kind of like pushing them to the side instead of confronting them.
It just was amusing. Like, it was very silly, comical. Like, I didn't take it serious, and I don't think anyone else watching took it serious.
I was actually quite confused about the debate. There's a lot of just iffy stuff that was said on both debate sides, like just debating wise. It was more, I feel like, a kid's show. I don't feel like it was treated as mature as in past president debates I've actually seen.
To put it into perspective, we have to keep in mind that this was just the first of the 3 debates. In many respects, it may have been the most important one because it's the one that makes voters most familiar with the candidates.
There are only 5 days left to register to vote in the state of Tennessee for the presidential election. In the past elections, voter turnout for college students has been the lowest of any age demographic. Students and residents have several resources to register to vote on and off campus, and even on their smartphones. With technology advancing, you can even register to vote on Snapchat and most other social medias. You can also go to ovr.govote.tn.gov to register to vote before Monday, October 5th.
Interestingly enough, in both 2016 and 2018, 18 to 24-year-old Tennesseans voted at only 31% in both those years.
A bad odor has consumed the air in some areas of Murfreesboro. The North Murfreesboro area along Compton Road has experienced unusually high odors. The City Water Resources Department is currently conducting hydrogen sulfide testing at manholes and pump stations to determine if odors are coming from sewer systems. In the past, chronic odor complaints have been pinpointed in a manhole, pump stations, or broken vent pipes as the cause. It is noticeable that sanitary sewer odors are more prevalent during very dry weather. MWRD is working to resolve complaints from Rutherford County residents.
Murfreesboro Police needs your help looking for a missing person. 20-year-old Mariah Sue Brackett was reported missing on September 21st. She was last seen in the area of the 1000th block of Northwest Broad Street. Her boyfriend reported her missing after she stated she was going to stay the night with a friend. Brackett has been entered into the National Crime Information Center, NCIC, database as a missing person. Please contact Detective Julia Cox of the whereabouts of Mariah Sue Brackett at 629-102-5514. Murfreesboro police have identified a shoplifter they have been looking for since early September. On September 3rd at the Walmart on Joe B. Jackson Parkway, the shoplifter loaded hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise in his car and left the store without paying. Since the man has been identified by law enforcement, Walmart Loss Prevention will be obtaining warrants for his arrest. The suspect was last seen driving a dark-colored Dodge Journey. If you have any information about the location of the suspect, contact Detective James Wilkinson at 629-201-5612. Now, let's toss it over to Morgan for our first look at weather.
Thanks, Christy. You know, despite those cooler temps we had earlier this week, today felt a lot more like a typical Tennessee fall. Things were pretty cool this morning, but by the afternoon, temperatures reached the mid to high 70s, with cool breezes throughout the day. The sun is out, the skies are clear, but the leaves are still beginning to fall. Now, up next, we have lots more stories to cover for you. This weekend is the big homecoming game against WKU, and a case of emerald ash borer was recently confirmed in Middle Tennessee. That's coming up next on Middle Tennessee News.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz drive.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. A case of emerald ash borer was recently confirmed in Middle Tennessee. Emerald ash borer is a wood-boring pest responsible for the destruction of millions of ash trees around the country. Confirmed cases have been reported in 35 states, most recently in Middle Tennessee. The City of Murfreesboro Street Department reports treating ash trees with declining health since 2016 to prepare for possible outbreaks, but affected trees that go unremoved become a hazard. The city will continue treating affected ash trees before removal. COVID-19 created a trend in Murfreesboro, with MTSU's second blood drive of the year being held off campus to avoid the virus. The 3-day Bleed Blue blood drive to beat COVID-19 blues took place at North Rutherford Church of Christ Monday through Wednesday in partnership with the Red Cross. On top of requiring masks, a new addition to the drive is that donors receive a free antibody test with their donation. The drive was moved to minimize the disease's spread, but those in charge were determined to make it happen due to its importance in the community.
We just wanted to ensure the safety of everyone on our campus, and we also want to make sure we help everyone in our community because this is one of the largest blood drives they have throughout the year.
This upcoming weekend kicks off MTSU homecoming with a football game against Conference USA rival Western Kentucky University at Floyd Stadium. As the 2020 homecoming week approaches, traditions will look a little bit different this year. There will be a mix of in-person and virtual activities for MTSU students and alumni to participate in, and tailgating will still not be allowed. With the COVID-19 pandemic still in effect, MTSU is putting in place precautions to minimize risks. Social distancing guidelines will allow for MTSU students and fans to have an exciting game at the annual homecoming game while also being safe.
Masks are encouraged when you get inside Floyd Stadium at all times. There's plenty of hand sanitizer around. When you use the elevators, only 4 people are allowed to go up at a time.
So, Morgan, what's in store for us as far as weather this evening?
So tonight things will be cooling down out here in Middle Tennessee. Temperatures will be dropping down to the low 50s this evening, and with clear skies and calm wind speeds, it ought to be a pretty calm Wednesday night. Stick around because after the break I'll be back with your full weather report. That's coming up next on Middle Tennessee News.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. You know, even though things are on the warmer side today, the constant breeze that was blowing through Middle Tennessee this afternoon made it feel just a little bit more like fall. Our high today was about 78 degrees, but like I said, those wind speeds were around 13, 14 miles per hour, making it just a little bit cooler out there. As we move into the night, though, temperature will be dropping down to around the low 50s, with wind speeds coming down through the night and into tomorrow. And speaking of, tomorrow we are looking at mostly sunny Thursday, with temperatures yet again cooling right back down into the low 70s and wind speeds at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we move into Thursday evening, though, things are going to get pretty chilly. We're looking at a low Thursday night of 43 degrees, with those cool temperatures carrying into our Friday. Our work week will end with cloudy skies and a high of only 64 degrees on Friday. Probably be our most fall-like temperatures of the week, with it only getting colder as the night goes on with a low 42 degrees. Now, I've got to say, we are looking at ideal weather on Saturday with mostly sunny skies and a high near 66 degrees. It's probably the perfect weather to go check out MTSU's homecoming football game against WKU. Make sure to bring a jacket, though, because things will be cooling down into the evening with a low for our Saturday of 48 degrees. And finally, for Sunday, we are looking at another picture-perfect fall day with mostly cloudy skies, temperatures reaching about the high 60s and lows in the 40s. Now that's all for our Wednesday weather report. Coming up after the break, Nathan Vaughn will be joining us from the MTN Sports Den with our sports report. Stick around.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Baby, you see, I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. We have a lot of action to get to today, so let's just get right into it. Conference play is heating up across the nation, and college football in Conference USA is no different. Here's Around the CUSA.
Florida Atlantic is coming off the best ever season in program history, in which they went 11-3, won the conference, and won the Boca Raton Bowl. Unfortunately, head coach Lane Kiffin was taken away, and now head coach is Ole Miss. Fortunately for Florida Atlantic, Chris Robinson is back under center. He is coming off of a year in which he threw for over 3,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. We will see if he can help the Owls get their first game started in the right way. Charlotte looked decent in Week 1 as they were able to put up 286 total yards and average 5 yards per play, but unfortunately, they gave up 512 yards and an average of 7.2 yards per play. FAU is not the same team that App State is, but that does not mean you can have 3 turnovers against the Owls and still expect to win. Look for the 49ers to bounce back. The 100 Miles of Hate has gone back until 1914, and MTSU leads the series 34-33, and there is one tie. This year's MTSU team has not been up to par as they are 0-3 and have been shut out already this season. Asher O'Hara did bounce back against UTSA, posting 433 yards and 3 touchdowns. Against a WKU defense that has given up 487 yards per game, add in the fact it's a rivalry week, and look at the Blue Raiders to try and right the ship this week against the Hilltoppers. WKU is having a rough season as they are 0-2 this year and have not managed to do anything right as they have been outgained and outscored in both games so far. WKU does have history going for them as they have won 3 of the last 4 and have not started an 0-3 season except for in 2018 when they played Wisconsin and Louisville in their first 3 games. If Tyrell Pogrom can continue to use his legs as well as his arm, the Hilltoppers will tie up the series against the Blue Raiders.
Well, let's narrow it down into our neck of the woods. The 100 Miles of Hate is this weekend, and we have a lot of Blue Raiders lore coming in this week's edition of the Big Blue Review.
Welcome back. First thing we're going to review today was the heartbreaking loss we suffered against UTSA last Friday.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough one for our Blue Raiders.
You know, I really thought we were going to win our first game of the season, but it came down to failing a 2-point conversion to tie the game late in the fourth quarter. The final score was 35-37 in the Alamodome.
Man, we really played a lot better this week as it really came down to the wire. Luckily for us, the great thing about football is there's always next week. Speaking of that, what week is it again?
No, didn't I tell you? It's homecoming week, as we play Western Kentucky today at 4 p.m. in the 100 Miles of Hate.
The 100 Miles of what?
The 100 Miles of Hate. The biggest rivalry game of the season. Right now we're standing in Walnut Grove, and obviously, here's our lucky blue horseshoe.
Obviously, but why are we standing here?
Well, back in 2014, there's a story, right? A group of students allegedly from WKU came down and painted our blue horseshoe red. WKU red. Well, it rained that day, and as the rains came down, our blue horseshoe shined through because it is true blue all the way through, just like me and just like you.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Yes, it was, and we got the win that day, so it made it even more beautiful, Noah. MTSU leads the series 34-33, and won. There was one tie.
Oh, well, it'd be amazing if we could get our first win of the season against our rival, and it'd be on homecoming. That'd be incredible.
Oh, absolutely. And I could not be more excited to watch the Blue Raiders play.
Well, what else is going on?
That's a conversation for next week, as we're all out of time. Back to y'all from the nose.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you for joining us for Middle Tennessee News. For Morgan Gonzalez and Christy Jones, I'm Nathan Vaughn. If you missed this or any of the show, you can watch them on our website, middletennesseenews.net. Make sure to follow us on our social media sites as well, Facebook/Middle Tennessee News or at Middle Tennessee News on Twitter. We'll see you next Monday at 5 p.m.